Here we are, episode 11. We have an interesting one today. We actually have not talked about this topic before, but I am very passionate about it because I like for people to be aware of the decisions that they are making, not only for themselves, but also for their families and for leaders in the church, for their churches, for their sheep. And I think it's about time we address the topic being in the month of October of Halloween.
Halloween.
Why'd you say it's so creepy like that?
Because it's a creepy holiday.
It is a very creepy holiday.
I actually hate Halloween.
Yeah. I think we have to talk about this because we have to be aware of what we are raising our children up into. And what we allow is what we are supporting in a sense. So what we're allowing in our children and in our culture is what we're supporting. And I think a lot of times what I've heard with Halloween, you know, we talk about all the holidays and all of the different things behind them. And obviously, like, guys, if you just look around the world, what's going on, you have Christmas and most kids are being raised up to believe in Santa more than Jesus Christ. You have Easter and all of a sudden there's a bunny and eggs for no reason. And even the church tries to spiritualize the eggs and how it represents new birth or something like that. And they do Easter egg hunts. What else? What's another one?
Just all of it.
All of them. Thanksgiving. No, that's not one of them. But you have the holidays that are supposed to be beautiful and pointing people to Jesus to celebrate him. And we celebrate other things. And yes, I know the tradition is to go to church for those things, but at the same time, the rest of the world, we are allowing this other thing to get in between our kids and Jesus.
We've even brought Santa into the church too, which is
absolutely
a whole other maybe episode for December. But back to Halloween. So
if you just reorganize Satan's letters, or turns into Santa, so
stop it.
It's pretty much the same person. Anyways, it's somebody that's distracting people from Jesus, so you might as well just attribute it to Antichrist, right? Because that's what it is. Anyways, back to Halloween. So now you have this one, and the ones that when you bring it up that it's an evil holiday, even they'll flip it. They'll be like, yeah, but all the kids really know that we're doing is we're just going out and like dressing up in their favorite costumes and we're getting candy, and it's just a really good community event. But I really started to think about it. And it's like, okay, maybe we've lost touch because of how the holiday came about. But I just started thinking about, what if people who were so into abortion started doing like holidays to celebrate abortion,
but made it fun and cute,
made it
and
fun.
you could dress
it was
up.
like, oh, you do like these cute cakes and funny things, and blah, it's red velvet because it's for like blood. It sounds weird, right? I know it sounds so weird to talk about this now. You wouldn't want to give into that holiday, even though it was just for the cake and it was just supposed to be fun because it's celebrating something evil. Yet here we are, hundreds of years later, celebrating an evil holiday that is not directing people to Jesus. It's everything about it is evil. How it started was it was like this belief that the dead souls would come back to homes, and you had to dress up in costumes to ward off the evil spirits. Okay. So what we're saying is Halloween is a spiritual holiday, but it's an evil spiritual holiday. And we are participating in it. And then we're raising our kids up in it. And then we're trying to reach the world by putting on Halloween themed events at our churches. Fall festivals. And, guys, look, if you have pumpkins and stuff like that, and
that's actually fall.
That's a fall seasonal thing. It's like having, I don't know, I was going to say, like, we had a strawberry festival when I was in Pennsylvania. That was our thing.
Sure. I wasn't there.
When the strawberries were ripe, you ate them.
Fall festivals are fine, but it's when they incorporate the trick-or-treating or trunk-or-treating or dress up. And again, it's almost just kind of like, it's like sugarcoating. Like, we don't celebrate Halloween, but like we kind of totally do.
Yeah.
Jake was just telling us about this reel, and I've actually seen it with this woman dressed up with her kid. She's like, we don't celebrate Halloween because we're Christians. We just like to get dressed up and go collect candy. And then this guy comes in, he's like, that's Halloween. You know what I mean? That is you actually celebrating Halloween. But it's funny because I grew up with amazing parents, but they were,
they are really
they're amazing. But they were strict and they were, believers. And we never got to go trick-or-treating. We were not allowed. I remember even in kindergarten, everyone dressed up. I wasn't allowed to dress up.
Dee grew up in like the rich neighborhood. And if you walked in her neighborhood and you trick-or-treated, you were getting full-size Snicker bars. You got not the Reese's peanut butter cups that there were singles. You got the double ones.
Well, I got nothing because I wasn't allowed to trick-or-treat.
They were all so rich.
Anyway, So I was like, man, I never got to do it. I mean, I was okay. You know, my childhood wasn't traumatized. But so when we had kids, I was actually like, Myles, let us take our kids trick-or-treating. It's not a big deal. And he was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. And I was just like, it's just for fun. It's not that big of a deal. Because I think we didn't really understand the depths of what happened on that day.
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
Is we lighten spiritual
We lightened
things.
it. But so we went to a friend's neighborhood. We walked around with them. And it was like, first of all, I just don't like scary stuff anyway. But even the way, oh my God, you real scared me.
Oh my gosh.
What is wrong with you?
We're in a studio full of lights and you just got scared.
I hate you. That scared me.
See, we don't celebrate Halloween for reasons just like that.
I don't like being scared. Did you mess up my hair?
Looks great.
Anyway,
Here you are in your hair again.
We're walking around this neighborhood and it's like this evil crap. Like these decorations are so dark and creepy.
You got like old guys who are like, step into my house, I turned it into a haunted mansion. I'm like, you're a weirdo.
No thanks.
When is it ever okay for an old man to say, come on in, kids?
Stop.
And I'm pretty sure he's by himself. And I'm like,
Anyway.
and parents are like, go ahead, Bobby. And I'm like, this is not
it's
okay.
weird. And I actually saw Addie and she was really scared. And I felt like such a failure as a mom. Because I'm like, I fought for this. Like, I really wanted my kid to have this sweet kid, like childhood experience. She's dressed up as a princess, going around to these houses with like little hanging skeletons, like in nooses. Like it was sick, you know? And so after that, I think we both were like, all right, we don't want to do this anymore. Like it doesn't bring joy. It doesn't bring glory to God, you know? But then we started to do a little bit more research and find out, you know, what really happens on Halloween.
Yeah. Do you know any churches that have just made any statements about this?
I do.
I heard like if you go back, like the Catholic Church tried to make it like this something special about it, but I believe it's November 1st that they talk about being for the saints, and then the day before is not for the saints.
Right.
So what church speaks about it?
Well, let me just read from this website.
Okay.
It says Halloween is traditionally a time when the obscure portal into the realms of darkness, death, and the supernatural is thrown open. Demons and spirits have free reign for one night, cavorting, enticing us into their revels and revealing glimpses into the future. As a child drawn to darker passions from birth, I always delighted in the fear and fantasies of Halloween. It gives even the most mundane people the opportunity to taste wickedness for one night. This goes on and on. This is from churchofsatan.com. Okay. And it goes on and on. So if you're one of those people that's like, don't be a ridiculous Christian, don't be so religious, don't be so whatever, it's just for fun. You need to do some real research into what's happening on Halloween night for the Church of Satan and for Satanists who get together, perform rituals, pray to Satan against Christians. Witchcraft is real. Like, I'm sorry. And if you are a Christian that dresses like a witch, dude, like, what are you doing? I'm sorry. Like,
We went in for a couples massage one time, and I had this lady.
Her name was Faye.
Faye. If you're watching, Faye,
she's not.
Forgive me. She was dressed up like, it was like October 20th or something like that.
She's dressed like a full-blown witch.
She was dressed like a witch.
But even that, babe.
I really wanted a massage.
No one cares about this. But even the fact that we've like downplayed and lightened witches, and it's like,
this is like, why. You know why? Because I am tired of hearing this statement that people will they use it like somebody said it's scripture to say this. They're like, shouldn't over spiritualize things. I don't like to over spiritualize things. I am so sorry. But like, if we are in a spiritual battle 24/7, then to say you don't want to over spiritualize things means I don't want to think anything spiritually right now. And that is like a cop out for saying I would like to do whatever I would like to do. So I don't want to over spiritualize it. No, actually, you're under spiritualizing things.
Yeah.
You are thinking and operating in the flesh. And that is the problem that we have. And I've heard that expression by believers, not unbelievers. I don't want to over spirit. Well, why would you not want to over? I want everything to be spiritual.
Yeah.
Like, God is spirit and he made us in his image. Therefore, we are spirit. There is a spirit within us. So to neglect the spirit is to follow another spirit.
Right.
And that's what's happening on
It's
Halloween.
crazy because even like when I was reading that, it was like I felt this pit in my stomach. Like I even just spiritually could feel just like the heaviness that is carried on that day. And when we told Addie that we weren't celebrating Halloween anymore, because we waited till the next year, obviously, and she asked and we said no. And she asked us why, and we explained to her at the level of the age that she's at to explain it. I didn't go into demon portals and stuff like that. Ugh. But we did say, like, honestly, Satan loves Halloween, and it's a day that people love Satan, love to celebrate, and they love to pray to Satan, and Jesus doesn't like it. And for Addie, she was done. Never asked about Halloween again. Doesn't care. Her friends ask her. She says, nope, I don't do Halloween. Same with Brooke. Like, it was almost like that faith of a child where it's like, oh, this isn't bringing glory to Jesus. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And it was that simple. But yet we sit here as Christians and we fight about whether or not we should get dressed up and celebrate Halloween. Yeah. And it's like, are you going to go to hell if you're celebrating? That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is, what are we allowing in the spiritual realm to like take part of and make a fancy, fun little party? And and it's just like, I want to be like Addie, where I'm like, Jesus doesn't like it, I'm out. And it's not a question, and it's not a pity, and it's nothing. Like, that's it. Like, if these people with the Church of Satan are excited about this day, I can promise you I want nothing to do with this day. Who loves abortions more than anybody? The Church of Satan. They celebrate it. They do rituals about it. Do I want anything to do with abortion? No. I don't want to be on the side of evil that this church is. Yeah. Pray for them. I pray they find Jesus. But like, I want no part of it. Yeah. And I've seen just the difference in our family since we've kind of set these different standards for ourselves. And again, it's not because we're overly spiritual or whatever, but yeah, maybe we are. Maybe it's a great thing, like you said.
It's just being spiritual.
It's just being spiritual, but it's living for, like, really wanting to just walk in spirit and truth with the Lord, and just wanting to walk like hand in hand with him and not let anything in the way. I wouldn't let anything in the way of my relationship with you. Why would I let anything in the way of my relationship with Jesus? Yeah. Why would I let anything get in the way of my children and the Lord? It's like.
So think about this. With that being said, you never hear anybody say, oh, I don't want to be over loving to my spouse. I don't want to be over loving to Jesus.
I don't want to be over thoughtful. I don't want to be over genuine. I don't want to be over compassionate. I don't want anything.
Yeah. So there is a lack of reverence for Jesus.
For the Spirit, yeah.
So if someone were to tell me like, oh, hey, there's a house over there and there's demons living in it, whatever, the weirdest thing, right? If somebody were to say that, do you think I'm going to let my kids go in there? Do you think I really want to go in there? I mean, if there are people that need to be delivered, maybe we need to go, or some, I don't know, something. But like, you think I want to put my kids around that? Right. So, and maybe this is an extreme, but at the same time, if there is even an inkling that this is happening on this day, do you think I want to put my kids around it?
Right.
And I want them to grow up in that. And then they're going to grow up with they're going to raise their kids up in it. And we pass down an evil holiday to our next generation. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I want us to begin to not over spiritualize, to just spiritualize things, recognize we're not in a battle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spirits. So we have to get that aspect. So if that's the case, what's happening on Halloween? And like, y'all, I get the evangelists that are out there that are like, I just want to reach the ones. Well, look, they're out and about every day.
Do you care about them on October 30th?
It's like, no, but on Halloween, I want to reach them. So therefore, I'm just going to like go and I'm not going to not have candy for them. That'd just be not loving for them to come to my house and have candy. I think my parents growing up, because it was the same way for me. So I had Halloween until I was all the way up through 9 years old. And then my parents, met Jesus and introduced us to Jesus. And the next year we weren't doing Halloween. And I was just like, well, why? Because all I knew was just dress up in candy, right?
Right.
And I remember what they did the first Halloween, because we had moved to Florida. And they put a sign on their door that said like, hey, we don't have candy, but we have a Bible study or something like that. Come on in. And I love that because it was just like not giving into the holiday, but we are inviting you to come and experience Jesus, And I think there are ways. This is this is an area that I think the church has struggled as well, is that when we see an opportunity, like in the secular world, we try to reach them through secular means, secular methods.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, it's Halloween, so we should do something Halloween related. But you don't have to. There are hundreds of holidays that we don't celebrate.
Yeah.
Why do you have to celebrate that one to join them? You know, I don't want to join in that holiday. The first year we moved here to start the church, we had a prayer night that night. Why? Because it landed on a Sunday night. And we were like, well, guess what? We're doing a prayer night. And we had people that were like, thank God you guys are a church that doesn't celebrate Halloween. We just wanted to pray. What better night to pray for the ones who are out on the streets that are giving into a holiday like this? Like, what better night to gather as a church? It's when the church needs to become the brightest, not the darkest. You know, we don't just turn your lights off and go hang out with the dark people. You put the light on, you know? And I think that's something that we just need to recognize. Like, there needs to be a call to action for the church in moments like that.
Yeah. So I think that if you find yourself kind of like, well, I've done it before and I never felt like it was a big deal, maybe just kind of really open your heart and your mind to like, okay, maybe I can make a shift. Like, it's not detrimental. You're not really missing out. Go to the store and buy some candy if you really want candy that bad.
Do it after Halloween. It's cheaper.
That's very true. And I remember even with Addie, she went to a public school last year, and in her music class, they sang some song about witches. And she went up to her music teacher, maybe it was 2 years ago, and she said, I'm not singing this song. And her teacher said, what? And she said, I don't sing about witches. And so her teacher's like, oh, okay, you can go in the hallway. Remember? And she sat outside all of music class while they sang about witches, which again, what the heck? And because we've fluffied up witches somehow.
Yep.
I'm like, do you understand that witchcraft is like so incredibly demonic? We saw real witches in Africa when we were there. It is beyond anything that you could think. Anyway. And
well, we've coined the term magical.
It's magical, and it's
magic.
Evil magic and good magic,
witches.
and right.
Sorcery is magic. It's also one of the things that God speaks from the throne when John is in Revelation, seeing this vision where he says, "Those are the ones that are not coming, sorcerers." So it's like we're participating in that stuff.
Right.
Like, you might not be making the potion, but you're participating in the holiday.
Right. Well, we're not. But
you just made the motion of the potion.
I did. But I'm just saying, let's be a little bit more like our sweet Addie, who's bold and doesn't. I wonder where she gets it from, but she just says it like it is, and she's standing up for righteousness, and she's bold, and she's being the light, and it's like, and her childhood she's just fine. She's not missing out on nothing.
I think a question for all of us is step away from asking, oh, you know, is really God going to be really mad at me if I go trick-or-treating? Rather than asking that question, why don't you just say, does it please the Lord to do this?
Right.
And you go search the Bible and just tell me if you find an answer. I'm telling you what you're going to find. But that's what the question needs to become. Will it please him to do this? And I promise you the answer is no.
Yeah.
It does not please him to look like the world. We're supposed to be in the world, but not of it, okay? And I want to look like Jesus. He called us to be the light of the world, and that other people are supposed to see our good deeds and give glory to our Father in heaven. And I promise you, they can't see your good deeds when you're dressed just like them on the same holiday they're celebrating the evil thing. So let's keep that in mind. I want to dress like Jesus. I'm going to start bringing out the robe, and I'm going to grow my hair out again. It's going to be great.
No, you're not. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. That hair was horrible.
I know.